chest of biscuits. Why do we need all these digestive biscuits? Doris! Oh. Doris!
What is it, George?
What do we need all these biscuits for?
They're for the prophecy.
What has a prophecy to do with digestive biscuits?
Panic buying.
You don't believe that rubbish.
Yes, I do. It's in all the papers.
But it's nonsense.
Wee Sadie believes it. And remember, her granny had the second sight.
Doris, they say he still believes in the tooth fairy.
Ah, but you know what they say about folk like that. They'll get it right one day.
What's the point of panic buying if the world's going to end?
Everybody's doing it.
Oh, and I suppose we'll have to do it too then.
Oh, remember Ruth's coming over later.
Oh, wonderful.
George, she's family. She's our niece.
She's your niece by marriage. She's mine by aggravation.
Oh, and she's got a new job.
Another one. And what is it this time?
Oh, it's something to do with the government, I think. Where you go and let me get on with my work.
So, what exactly is this new job, Ruth?
It's a really exciting opportunity.
I expect it is. But what are you?
Head of Transparency.
Oh my, George, do you hear that? Head of Transparency?
Transparency? I heard. But what do you actually do?
It's about transparency, you know. Making sure we can see through all the windows and none of the curtains are drawn.
So you're a window cleaner.
George!
Oh, you're so funny, George. It's about making sure that everyone is fully informed about what we're doing going forward.
You'd hardly be going backwards.
It's all actually really hush-hush.
Makes the transparency bit a little difficult.
Oh, not at all. There are layers of it, you see.
Layers?
Of transparency. Lots of layers, and all with different levels of opacity. We don't want to scare people excessively and cause a panic.
Panic?
About the prophecy?
Oh, that's what you're working on. See, George, the government's taking it seriously.
We have to take cognizance whether or not we believe it.
What?
If we don't develop forward planning and create sustainable contingency protocols, we could be sued.
Sued?
For billions. It will make the payment protection scandal look like a walk in the proverbial. You see, people are preparing for the prophecy and it's costing them considerable financial resources. So if, when actually nothing happens, it's going to be payback time big style. Like mega billions and all that.
But no one can sue the government, Ruth.
That's what you'd imagine. In fact, and this is the thing, almost all of the government's core and non-core functions have been privatised or devolved to the third sector. So, in essence, what it boils down to at the end of the day is that maybe you can sue, that is. So, we're opening a constructive dialogue with the key stakeholders to make sure that everyone understands their position vis-à-vis the prophecy and head off all that bad stuff of the past, so to speak.
Going forward.
Or not, as the case may be.
So, how are you going to do that?
We're going to disseminate a series of guidance protocols that will delineate the government's total position vis-à-vis the prophecy, with carefully calculated expectational advice for everyone to follow in case the prophecy indeed is factually accurate.
Ah, so you're going to put out a leaflet?
Now that would be the affirmative interpretation of what we're trying to achieve. The big problem is that this being uncharted territory, the expert analysts are at odds with each other, and the best advice we can give is for everyone to wrap themselves in tinfoil at the key moment.
You can't be serious. Are you?
Deadly. But don't ask me to explain all that technical stuff. The thing of it is there isn't enough of it to go round. Tinfoil, that is. And why do you think there's been so much media coverage about obesity? It's got nothing to do with health and stuff. It's simply that if everyone slims down at the moment that the rubber hits the road, there might just be enough to go round. Literally.
This is madness.
Of course, we don't have much time at our disposal. According to our most recent interpretation, it all kicks off on the 12th at 12 o'clock.
Midnight or midday?
What?
Well, it's a simple enough question, Ruth. Will it be midnight or midday? It would be useful for us to know so we could prepare ourselves for our last minute.
Well, I'm sure it's all been carefully calculated, but I'm not fully au fait with the anticipated outcome, so I'll have to consult with my colleague. Simon, hi. Oh yes, good, thanks. Tell me, Simon, did we sort out the actual 0 hour, i.e., is it midday or midnight? Midnight. Thanks. Ciao.
Okay, so it's midnight. But there are 24 midnights, so which one is it?
See where you're coming from, George. GMT, international dateline, time zone and all that stuff. Un momento. Simon? Yes, cooking with gas. Listen, vis-a-vis the midnight thing within the whole prophecy scenario. Yes, the question is, and it's pretty crucial, yeah? Midnight where? After all, Simon, there are 24 time zones and 24 midnights around the world. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yes, okay. Cool. Ciao.
Well,
Well, what it is we're pretty sure that it just happens to be midnight here. But we haven't gone public on that yet.
Do you think we should do a bucket list, George?
Good evening. A statement from world leaders claiming that this is the worst prophecy since records began caused a further collapse of stock markets today, and the government was forced to offer counselling for hysterical investors. Slimathons are drawing massive crowds across the country, but the news that manufacturers of tinfoil are struggling to meet demand caused uproar in the Commons, with the leader of the opposition accusing the government of complacency. Responding from his underground bunker, the Prime Minister reiterated that we are all in this together and said that the Keep Calm Wartime slogan was a jolly good idea. And now for the weather.
Oh well, George, not long now. What do you think we should do in the final minute?
how about one last digestive biscuit, Doris?
That is just the very thing. One last digestive biscuit.
So, there you are, Doris. Another needless panic.
Digestive biscuit, Ruth?